welcome back to TARTLEcast, everybody. Happy to have you here, listening, watching, wondering. We would love it if you would take a quick look at the screen back here. This is TikTok, the TARTLE official page. We've had some videos that have gone, kind of viral on here, and we'd love to have your support and join in on the conversation, which is extremely active.
Yes.
With the comments.
That's always fun. There's some new ones that are really cool.
Yeah, they are always flying in. I really, really enjoy the community on TikTok and their involvement with us. It's a great dialogue. And if you would like to be a part of it, and if you don't have a TikTok, I guess you can sign up and follow us. That's _official.
TARTLE_official on TikTok. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Jason.
Let's talk about SEC.
What is it about the Securities Exchange?
Everybody just tuned out.
Don't pull in too much attention to us.
So this is interesting. We have Gary Gensler. He is to head the SEC. We have a new president here in the United States. So Gary Gensler was a former chair of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and currently a professor teaching digital assets and blockchain. So that's interesting. Digital assets and blockchain at MIT. So this guy knows a few things about blockchain.
Yeah, I don't know much about this guy, but what's the intention here? That they want Gary Gensler to come in and I guess help manage what fraud is going on within the blockchain community. So anything that relies on some sort of encrypted ledger system and it's dealing with a digital asset, that he's going to come in and say, we need to look at this. We need to put more focus on this from, a government regulatory standpoint.
So what do you feel about that? Whenever we're looking at, fraud, hacks, manipulation, scams.
They realize it has potential for change. Honestly, the stock market's a effing scam. Hands down. Most of the trading's done by computers, and very few people with a massive amount of resources can drive prices up or down. Any intelligent person could see that.
High school kids can.
High school kids, they did it with GameStop.
Yep.
So just to explain that in this sense, let's talk about how the market can just be manipulated, right? It really lacks any good value. There was a couple of billion-dollar hedge funds that had a short position, which means, to explain that if someone's into finance, someone is saying that they're making a bet that the value of a company is going to decrease. And in doing so, they can take the differential. It's almost like taking out like a short-term loan against something. And then as that price drops, they get the positive gain or differential in the decrease in value. So it's like, I have to pay back less on this, essentially, right? And so you get a gain from it. So in the simplest form, they're trying to short this thing, hoping that the price would fall. But these groups of, teenage groups of day traders were coming out, and they were saying, we got to drive the price up. So it went from $20 to $240 and wiped out all these short positions. All the funds had to then go pony up and say, crap, we were on the wrong side of that bet. And it was too much money for them to handle, so they lost capital expense, closed down the hedge funds. So when you look at that, just the general market itself is ripe with, fraudulent behavior, people cornering it, lacking value, but they're taking such a hyper focus on fraud that's happening in the blockchain community. It's the only fraud thing you're talking about is selling someone a scam. If someone falls for a scam, they fall for a scam, but the system itself, blockchain is not a scamming system. It's designed to be decentralized. It's a trustless system. It just does it through verification and, going through, certain encryption algorithms.
Yeah. And, we had an episode on Ripple where we talked about them. And then also you have all these ETFs coming on the scene where you can purchase. I have some where you can purchase, where these funds are investing in blockchain. So I think this is just a way for especially the United States government to kind of try to become more aware of what's going on because they realize they can't fight decentralization.
No, they're out of the loop. And so they're trying to figure, if we can't fight it and it's growing so fast, how do we contain it? It's all containment management. It's classic, military strategy, essentially.
Yes.
Risk mitigation. And it says right here, formerly Gensler was chairman of the U.S. Commodities Future Trading Commission, the CFTC, leading the Obama administration's reform of the $400 trillion swaps market. $400 trillion. Some ridiculous amount of value of money just being boom back and forth, and nobody can really account for what's going on. Easily manipulated. He was also the senior advisor to the U.S. Senator Paul Sarbanes in writing the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in 2002 and was under Secretary of Treasury of Domestic Finance and Assistant Secretary of the Treasury during the Clinton administration. He's been in politics for a long time.
Right.
It's not obvious that someone was going to pull him in from MIT and be like, hey, you want to come lead this as the front man. And so currently he's a member of the New York Federal Fintech Advisory Group and was chairman of the Maryland Financial Consumer Protection Commission. God, these words are so long. He's worked on political campaigns. He was a CFO for Hillary Clinton. So
all Democrats. So yeah. So he's definitely.
Yeah. So I mean,
Joe Biden.
He's a right pick, but when we're looking at this, it's like, it's that risk mitigation. And a lot of the media has sold a lot of Bitcoin news around, or crypto news around fraud and hard forks and people losing all this money and it disappears and you can never get it again. Do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was stupid in how they were storing their keys. It's like, if you have a key to your house, you just hand it out to strangers. Do you store it on the sidewalk outside in front of your house? There's basic things to prevent a lot of this stuff from going on. So it's just so much fear that's been around it. And I think, and then when you hear someone's coming in to manage it, and the way they coin it is, what was that sentence on the front page?
No pun intended.
Yeah. What was it about
MIT
fraud?
blockchain professor Gary Gensler to head SCE. Yeah. And then, of course, he said, crypto markets have been rife with scams, fraud, hacks, and manipulation. Ripe. Yeah.
They've just been ripe with it. It's not right. Listen, it's flourishing with a lot of people that are transacting stuff back and forth. Are there always people out there that are going to try and game things? You can't game crypto, but you can game people. That's what's going on. So if the SEC wants to do anything, start locking down on the people that are tooling around with it, not the actual technology that is fundamentally breaking down a lot of the walls and barriers on, Wall Street.
Yeah, this always amazes me when I start looking at Wall Street, SEC, and all that stuff. I always picture that big scandal. And I don't know if it was in Iran or where it was at, but they were hiring people to investigate the nuclear. I think it was Iran. They were hiring people to investigate what they were doing nuclear wise.
Oh yeah,
but the people that they were hiring were pro-Iran.
Yeah.
So the SEC and Wall Street kind of reminds me of the same thing. It's like you're taking the same. It's a fox is checking out the hen house.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
you're just getting another fox in there.
So when I look at that, I'm like, whatever. It's just who do we choose the best person for risk mitigation? We're losing grip.
And no matter if it's Gary Gensler or the SEC or the United Kingdom, Minister of Finance, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. The power belongs to the people. Decentralization is the future. And these old cigar smoking dudes don't know what to do about it.
Yeah. See you later, guys.